embark on the Great Canadian Farm Tour, it is important to acknowledge that we are on the traditional lands of Indigenous peoples. Agriculture in the Classroom Canada recognizes and honors the enduring presence of the diverse Indigenous communities across Canada, including the First Nations, Métis, and Inuit peoples. We acknowledge the deep connection that Indigenous peoples have to the land, waters, resources, and all of agriculture. We express our gratitude for their stewardship and custodianship of these lands for generations. Agriculture in the Classroom Canada recognizes that acknowledging the traditional territories we reside and work on is only a small step towards reconciliation. We ask that we all continue to learn more about the Indigenous peoples in these regions, to consider the history and ongoing colonialism on this land, to reflect on how each of us can contribute to reconciliation. Hello, bonjour. Welcome everyone to our last stop on season 5 of the Great Canadian Farm Tour. Bienvenue à tous à notre dernier arrêt de la saison 5 de la Grande Tournée des Fermes canadiennes. We are so excited to have everyone join us today from across Canada. Nous sommes ravis que vous soyez tous là aujourd'hui venus de partout au Canada. My name is Mercedes from Agriculture in the Classroom Canada, and I'll be your MC for today. Je m'appelle Mercedes d'Agriculture en Classe Canada, and je serai votre maître de cérémonie aujourd'hui. Before we get started, we just wanted to provide a few reminders. For those who want to follow in French, please use the Boost Lingo link provided in the chat to access the interpreting services provided for today. We ask that everyone is mindful that this is an educational event, so inappropriate conduct happening in the chat, such as spamming and improper comments, will not be tolerated. We ask that everyone, my apologies. Throughout the tour, we welcome you to post your questions in the chat to get them answered, and we'll answer as many questions as possible. The mystery word for your student activity books will appear at the end of this episode, so please stick around. And finally, we ask everyone to share your school and location so that we're able to share with everyone where you're joining us from. Now, to get started, we welcome our next and final tour host of the Great Canadian Farm Tour, which is Valdemar. Happy to have you here today.
Thanks for having me.
Now, Valdemar, as we get started, I was wondering if you could share a little bit more about yourself.
My name is Waldemar. I grew up in Germany, and I've been living in Canada since 2009 with my wife and kids. We started deer farming about 3 years ago, so we are really fresh into this and still learning lots. We're able to take over a deer farm, an existing deer farm that has been shut down for 12 years. And yeah, so we bought some deer, restarted operations, and met a lot of amazing people on the way.
That's so wonderful for you to share about your journey on how you got started, Valdemar. And your farm is Jim Valley Ranch in Saskatchewan. So that must have been an interesting experience to kind of move and get started. How did you get started in reflecting on deciding you wanted to do a deer farm? And how did you even get into the process of knowing what to do?
Well, I did a lot of research. So we had at first we had the opportunity to get into this, and I love the outdoors. I love animals. I love deer. So it was a no-brainer for us to get into this. So I did a lot of research, a lot of reading. Yeah, there are great videos online that help you out with starting, and then of course all the other farmers around. Everybody's open, everybody talks to you, everybody helps you out with any questions you have. So that's been great help.
It's amazing to show how great of a community that you have to support you in the process of learning on how to even start a deer farm and what to do as you have it. And so we're going to learn more about deer farming with Valdemar today. And Valdemar is going to be explaining what is involved with looking after deer on his farm and what the day-to-day looks like. So what we're going to do is we're going to be looking at a series of videos that Valdemar took of his farm and of his deer. And then we're going to talk a little bit more about them with Valdemar while we go into answering questions from students across Canada throughout this tour. So we're going to start with our very first video, which is looking at bucks. So we're going to start with that one right now. So Valdemar, can you tell me a little bit more about what's happening in this video? And first of all, how do we know that they're bucks?
So we know they are bucks by their antlers. Only male deer grow antlers, and we feed them apples as a little treat, and they really love them. So they come up close, and then we can watch them.
Wow. So it's really cool to see them here. And how long do they take to grow to full weight almost, or full lifespan here?
So deer live out in the wild. They live 6 to 12 years. In captivity on farms, they live up to 20 years. And so it takes them about 1.5 years to grow their first set of antlers. And then every year they get bigger and bigger. The dark chocolate one, he's 3 years old. And the one to the left of him, he's 2.5.
Wow. So that's so interesting just to even see them. Is there a reason why you have a certain amount in this kind of area you have them housed in?
Well, so those were all existing pens. Um, so we have 26 pens altogether, and we have the bucks in one separate pen and those in a different separate pen, so they don't hurt each other. And we're trying to keep them divided by age as well, so the big guys don't bully the small ones.
Okay, that's so interesting. And we have a question from Max. How many do you have in total?
So I have to look that up. We have 21 fallow deer, which are these ones, and we have 14 white-tailed deer.
Oh, wow. Is there a reason why you're able to house that many? You have kind of 26 different pens.
Yes, we have a lot of land available here that we are renting, so the pens are quite big and they have a lot of space.
I have another great question that I'm kind of just monitoring on the side while we're getting ready to kind of show another one on the screen. But there's a student who's asking, can they break their antlers if they're fighting?
Yes, it does happen once in a while. It's really hard to break them because they are like solid bone, and they are like stuck to the head really, really well until they shed them in spring. Um, but it does happen once in a while. They break off a tip or something. Like worst case scenario, they can break off a full antler, but it doesn't hurt them at all. Yeah, they don't have any nerves in there or anything. They don't feel that.
And that's something we actually learned earlier on, was that the difference between horns and antlers when we did a goat tour earlier in this season, that goats have horns, which means there's blood flowing into them, and then antlers, the reason why they eventually fall off is because they don't have that blood flow. So it's nice to see that all come together during the Great Canadian Farm Tour. So you have a bit of an example there, Valdemar.
Yes, so this was a year and a half old, and this is a naturally shed antler. So when they come off really clean, like they just drop them off, and then they start growing their new antlers immediately. And antler is one of the fastest growing cells there is in the animal kingdom. They grow up to 1 inch per day. Oh, yeah. So they grow really, really fast.
So kind of like the toenails for deer, where they have antlers, we have toenails. They grow over time. That's so
Ex-
interesting.
Exactly. And they grow soft when they still have the velvet and blood is flowing through them. And then in fall they harden and they get like solid rock.
So we have another question. Why do the deer have tags? And this is Harlan who's wondering that.
Yes. So we tag all our deer so we know who they are. We right from birth when they're born, they're really young. We take them in a little it's a like a deer cradle, we put them in and they just lay there. So we take hair samples and tag the deer, so we know exactly who the mom is, who the dad is, and yeah, so we have an eye on all of our deers.
Oh, and I'm sure that's very important when you're trying to track the DNA, the genetics of deer, of the parents, of who are the baby of, who can we mate later on. So that's really interesting how tags are used in deer farming, and it's used elsewhere as well. We've seen that
Mhm.
they've used tags with sheep and other livestock animals. So we're going to
Yes.
jump into another video with Valdemar to look at some fallow bucks. So we're going to bring up that video right now. So what's happening here, Valdemar?
So this is a buck in our handling facility, and we use red light to keep them calm. It just calms them right down, and I'm standing in front of him with the shield. It's just to protect me, just in case he does decide to come towards me. I can I can cover myself with the shield.
So that's really important. And now Voldemort is actually going to be walking us over to kind of his handling area to kind of show us a little bit more. So we're going to be diving a little bit deeper into that with him. And we're just in the process of having Voldemort walk over. So hopefully his internet service holds up for this walk. In the meantime, we challenge everybody to kind of come up with some more questions for Valdemar. So
Is
here
he?
he is walking.
Okay, sorry for that.
No, that's fine. We're happy
So
to have you.
this is a fawn cradle, and we just drop the fawns in there, and they lay there. The legs go through, and they just lay here comfortable. And yeah, we can work on them, do the tagging and everything else.
Yeah.
Um,
Is there anything else you would have them lay in there for? Any kind of vaccinations or anything like that? Do you need that for them?
Well, no, this is just when they are freshly born. Later on, we use the chute. It's a deer squeeze. So we run the deer inside. We got the red lights. We have multiple rooms in here where we can divide them up. That is my shield. I hold it like Captain America, and it protects me. So, and then we get the deer in here. We got sliding doors, and then they come right through, and they get into this area. We drop the floor out, and then the floor drops out, and the deer are sitting right in here, and then they're super calm, and yeah. And
And what
then once we do,
I
sorry,
was going to
once we
say, I was,
do all our stuff, then we let them back out, and we can run out.
and what are all the things you're doing in that area, Valdemar?
So we use that for flying tags, like if a deer loses its tag, or to vaccinate them, to give them medicine and stuff like that. So, and we artificially inseminate the deer there as well.
And could you explain what artificially inseminate means, just for the kids that are watching?
Yes, so they get pregnant, so a veterinarian comes over and helps them to get pregnant. So we can have new genetics onto the farm without bringing in a different buck. Yeah, so we just
That's a great example because it just shows how important vets are to the process of you having your farm. So all the different roles involved in ensuring that you're able to run your farm. So the vets will come in to help make them pregnant and introduce new genetics. So sometimes that can be one of the easiest methods for you to ensure that when you're breeding, you're getting new genetics into your herd.
yes.
And
Yeah.
then let's bring up some more questions from students across Canada. So, a question from Dawson in a grade 3-4 split class. What are female deer called? That's a great question.
They're called does. It's spelled DOES.
I love that. And just so for everyone that may be wondering, what's a baby deer, Baltimore?
A, a baby deer is a fawn.
Okay,
So,
wonderful.
yeah,
And then we
they
have our
can. I'm
bucks, which
sorry.
are our male. Go ahead.
The bucks, yes. The fawns, when they are born, they are spotted, and it helps them in the wild to hide from predators. So on. They disappear. Like if you have 2, 3 inches of grass, you can walk right by a fawn, and they you will not see it. They are really masters at hiding.
It's interesting. It shows how camouflage can be very important to kind of the development of an animal. So that's a really interesting fact. And we have another question. Oakley is wondering why you farm fallow deer.
All deer I find super interesting because I really like the antlers. So I have a fallow deer antler right here. They grow back like elk do, and then they have the palmation, just like a moose. So I really find those animals super nice and really interesting. Yeah, I like them.
That was a wonderful question. Thank you, Oakley. Is there something specific about their temperament that's different from maybe other deer?
Well, the fallow deer are calmer a little bit. They run towards you. So when we handle them, white-tailed deer, for example, you just have to stand in one corner of the pen. And the white-tailed deer, they want to run away from you. They don't like them to be watched or anything, right? They don't like you to see them. So they just run away from you. And fallow deer are less. They are more, I would almost say like goats with pretty antlers.
That's really cool. So we're going to do one more question with students across Canada before we jump into our commercial break. So, Bree from grade 3, what do they eat in the winter time, and maybe what else do they eat through the rest of the seasons? I'm just going to add
Mhm.
that in as a
Yeah.
question.
So deer are, or like all deer are herbivores. So they eat all kinds of plants and grasses and whatnot. Fallow deer, they are more grazers. They eat grasses more. During the summer, they love when something sprouts. And yeah, so they browse for that. In the winter, we give them alfalfa. We try to buy the best quality alfalfa we can, and they get green feed in the winter. Throughout the year, we feed them with pellets, which are specially formulated with all the minerals and everything in there to keep them happy, healthy, and yeah.
So that was a great question from everyone so far as we've been learning about deer farming with Valdemar. We're now going to jump into our commercial break to learn more about Saskatchewan, the province of Saskatchewan. So we'll get started with that amazing video right now. And we're back with Valdemar to learn more about deer farming. So we're going to jump into our next video, which is learning about more about fallow deer. So here we are right here. And if Valdemar, can you explain to me a little bit more about your fallow deer? Just a little
Yes.
bit, as we're going to rewatch it a little bit here.
Those are fallow does. We mostly have brown and white ones, but they do come in 5 different colors. There are spotted ones. There are some spotted ones that change their fur, their coat, to a reddish brown in the winter. And yeah, white ones and spotted and black ones. Yeah, we do have black ones, but they're not in this video as well. They love their apples. You just put a bucket out with apples and they just munch on them.
Oh, it's so interesting. I didn't even realize that you could have white deer. That's actually interesting that I didn't even know that there could be so many different colors. So it's really cool to be able to see the different ones with you. And
Yes,
oh, go ahead.
the fallow deer are really interesting animals. They're super pretty and so versatile, right, in colors and everything, and the antlers grow in different formations and whatnot. Like they're a really nice deer. Yeah.
And then in total, how many different types of deer do you have on your farm, Valdemar?
We just have those two types, the fallow and whitetail. The whitetail is native to North America. It's our deer that you see all over the place on fields and in the bush and everywhere. And the fallow deer are from Europe, so they were brought in way, way back in the day.
And how do you know the difference between them? What's like the defining characteristic to know the difference between your two deer?
First would be the color. They are also smaller. So a fully grown whitetail buck, depending, of course, where you are in North America, but for Saskatchewan, for example, we can have up to 300-pound deer. They're like big bodies, they're big, big animals. And the fallow deer, they're a little shorter, and the bucks, they can weigh up to like 150 pounds.
Oh wow, that's a big deer.
It's
No wonder
half
you
the
need
size
the
almost.
shield to be Captain America when you're navigating with them. So it's always important to know a little bit about your deer in terms of how you want to work with them, right?
Yes.
So a question from Dawson in a grade 3-4 split class. Are deer strong swimmers?
Actually, yes, they're very strong swimmers. That I have seen. We went on the lake with my family a few years back, and we saw something swim in the lake. And then I looked through my binoculars, and it was a deer, but it was almost on the other side of the lake already, and it was crossing the whole lake by swimming across. And it was so fascinating to see what kind of distance it went. I saw it with my own eyes. It's really cool.
So definitely endurance swimmers. They must be just to get across the lake. I've also seen deer swim a few times across our lake just to
Oh,
navigate.
nice.
Maybe they're looking for food. Maybe they're looking for just some exercise. But it's really
Mhm.
interesting to see. So that was a great question. We're going to bring up some more questions from students across Canada. So, how much do deer eat in a day from Dax in grade 3 from Saskatchewan?
Deer eat, so fallow deer eat about 2.5 pounds a day of pellet food. And whitetail deer eat a little bit more. They eat between 3 and 4 pounds a day.
Oh, okay. So you gotta make sure you keep them well fed. And
Yes.
in this video here we're kind of watching, I see that you have trees in their natural habitat. Do they kind of sharpen their antlers against them? Is it to recreate their natural habitat? Is it just a nice area for them?
Yes, those trees help them a lot to find shade in the summer and, get out of the wind in the winter. And in fall, when they rub their velvet off the antler, when they get into hardhorn, it helps them a lot to scrape it off because they say it's itchy. So the
Mhm.
velvet gets itchy for them, and they want to scrape it off.
Oh, that's so interesting. That's a great fact. And now we're going to pull up one more question from students across Canada before we head into another video. So, coming in from Emerson, Millwood Elementary, grade 5, how many babies can a female have?
That's a great question. So fallow deer usually have single babies. The odd time it does happen that they have twins, but it's not very common. And whitetail are usually having two fawns, and the odd time there might be more, like three. Four has happened, but very, very uncommon.
Very
So
rare.
yes, two and one.
Well, it must be very kind of exciting to see when a new fawn comes into life. How do you know when it's about to happen, Voldemort? Do you kind of watch them? Do you have kind of little signals that the deer give you?
So y- during fawning season, we are here all day, every day. We watch them like hawks, and because we want to pay attention, right, to who the mother is too. And so they get really big, like the tummy gets really big. And then for the fallows, only their own mother will give them milk, right? So they won't give milk to any other fawns. But the whitetails, they share their moms throughout. So one fawn can be somebody else's mom, and or have somebody else as a mom and go get milk there, and so they're browsing for milk as well.
So that's kind of a great segue. We're going to actually watch the another video here, and can you tell us a little bit more about what's happening here?
Yeah, this is Mousy. She's an 8.5-year-old doe, and she's very calm. She comes up to you and eats apples out of your hand. They love their apples.
Is apples a special treat that you provide them, Valdemar?
Yes, yes, exactly. We do like them to have, like we like to eat candy once in a while. So this is their candy, and they like apples, watermelons, whatever, fresh fruit that is sweet. They really love that, and the bucks, they come right up to you, and they almost eat out of your hands as well.
Oh, wow. So this is really it's really amazing to see these deer with you, Valdemar. So we appreciate sharing a little bit more. So let's dive into some more questions from students across Canada as we're wa- looking at these deer. How many teeth do deer have? That's a really cool question.
That is great. Yes, and I have no idea. I've never counted their teeth, but their teeth only, they have a few on the front, and then they only go like 3/4 of the way, and then they don't have teeth in the back because they only grab plants and twigs and stuff like that. I don't know how many exactly they have.
So we're going to challenge students, all of you students across Canada, to look it up to see how many teeth that they have. So, and I noticed that they're kind of they the way they move their mouths to help kind of chew food is very unique. I assume it's probably related to the teeth that they have in their mouth.
Yes, yeah. Everything's
So,
in the front, and they kind of grind sideways.
yeah. So that's very interesting. So students across Canada, look up how many teeth do deer have. And then let's pull up one more question before we head into our final video. Ben from Winnipeg wants to know why red lights calm deer down. That's actually very interesting.
Yes, I don't know because it's not that bright. I think it does help because it doesn't have all the wavelengths that white light does. They can still see, but it's just not as aggressive to them, right? Yeah,
So
does
it's very
help tremendously. Yeah.
it's an interesting tactic you've learned in Valdemar to use it. And I think it's very similar to humans, where sometimes you just feel overloaded or overwhelmed by too much light or too much noise or too much commotion. So sometimes you just need a bit of calming different lights, maybe no light at all to help relax. So deer are
Mhm.
very similar in that way, where you just need to do some relaxing
Yes.
things with them to
Mhm.
calm them down.
Deer can see really well at night, but I can't. So when I go in there and the lights are off, I don't see nothing. And so we turn the red light on, so at least I can see a little bit, and they are still really calm.
That's very interesting. So are a great fact that Voldemort just shared is that they have really great night vision. And that's probably a
Mhm.
combination of reasons where to avoid predators if they're in the wild is probably one of the biggest ones.
Yes.
Now we're going to go into our last video to learn about white-tailed deer a little bit more. So what can you tell us a little bit more about them?
This video was taken in the summer. Those are our white-tailed does. and there's a few fawns, and those guys as well love the apples. They come right up. We put a camera right on the pen, and yeah, we have one doe in there. You might be able to see she has one antler, and sometimes that does happen in nature as well. That does grow an antler, but they don't shed them. They don't. They stay there forever.
Oh, that's very interesting. It's not just the bucks that have antlers. Does sometimes have antlers, and they sometimes not lose them.
Yes, it's very uncommon, but it does happen that does grow antlers.
So as we're looking at our white-tailed deer, we're going to start to wrap up, but we want to answer a couple more questions from students across Canada before we have our closing words with Valdemar. So let's bring in a couple more. So from Miss Ulrich's class from Margaret Park School wants to know if the antlers of the deer are similar shapes year to year or do they change?
Yes, they do grow similar shapes, but they grow bigger every time. Um, for example, one year one year it can grow like this, and then the next year it'll grow like this. So you kind of have the same shape, but they add more material to them.
That's very interesting and great examples to show. So let's pull up a couple more questions. And Chloe from Winnipeg wants to know if deer change color as they get older. So I guess as we gray and maybe get white hair, do deer as well?
Yes, so white-tailed deer, for example, they are born spotted. They have a reddish-brown coat with white spots on them, and in towards fall, they lose their spots and they turn a nice brown. That's their first winter coat that they grow. And then in the summertime, their summer coat is more reddish brown. And so between summer and winter, they do change color a little bit. Fallow deer, when the white fawns are born, they are like a cream color almost, so they are not really white. And then as their first coat comes in, they turn white. And if you, for example, have a spotted fallow deer or one of the black ones, they stay black. They stay that color.
Hmm. That was a fantastic question just to understand more about the coloring of deer. So we're going to bring up two more questions and then wrap up with Valdemar. So from Brixton, how fast can they run?
That is a great question, and I challenge you to look that one up. I forgot to write that down, but I think they probably are faster than me because I've never outran a deer yet.
So that is a great question. So students, please look up the answer of that to see how fast that they run in kilometers, and then feel free to share it with us. And then we're going to bring in one more question from students across Canada and then wrap up. And Chloe is wondering if deer are nocturnal. So are they awake at night or
Yes, yes, they are. They sleep during lunch hour. They lay around, they hang around all day. They sleep on and off. But before the sun sets, they start moving and they start eating and looking for food and stuff like that for their water sources. And yeah, so they're up all night pretty much.
thank you so much to everyone for sending in these amazing questions. Valdemar, are there any final words you'd like to share with everyone as you've taken us on a tour to learn more about your deer farm and what it takes to be a deer farmer?
I would like to thank everybody for being here. I would like to thank you for having me, and I hope you guys were able to learn something. I definitely did, and appreciate you all.
Yes, thank you again for having everyone. It was great to have you with us today. It's been amazing to learn about deer farming and the fact that Valdemar, you came here and became a deer farmer. So it's possible for others to do it too. Maybe we have some future deer farmers who are watching and learning from you today. So we encourage you to learn more and get involved. Um, it's been great learning today with you. I know I learned something new today as well. And before we close off this episode, and thank you again for everyone waiting patiently. I am excited to share the last mystery word for you. Mystery word sentence is for number 11 spot is donut or ben en français. So thank you again to Valdemar for joining us on this
Thank
last
you.
episode of the Great Canadian Farm Tour. This is our last episode of the entire season of season 5, and you did a great job finishing us out. We
Thank you so
hope
much.
everyone enjoyed the opportunity to learn from all of our 11 tour hosts for this season. And we look forward to seeing you all again in the future. So goodbye for now and a bientôt. Thank you, Valdemar, and thank you to everyone. So have a great school year. Bye bye. Thank